Hi everyone. Thanks for staying this way. I promise to save the best for last. So tonight's panel, we are going to talk about after deploy, right? So it's more on the production side. Today we have an expert on the operation side, Mahesh. He is Amazon solution architect. Been with Amazon and virtualization for many years already. Mahesh Rajani, right? Yeah, sorry to mix up. Yeah, and he help organization modernize the infrastructures and then optimize it for the security, performance, and then the cost. So all in all, in this area, he's an expert in this. And then next to Mahesh is Chingsong Zhang. He is working at PayPal, the principal technical architect. Very experienced in the industry. He also, before PayPal, he also worked in Michael Store and Walmart on the retail side, and HPE. Very senior experiences, operational professional. Also, Dr. Chin is our president and CSDU. Great experiences and very visionary about the AI educations. So for today's topic, I want to start it with a little bit more generic, right? So in the AI has changed quite a bit of operational wise and then the IT industry in general, software wise. Let's go into a broad before you dive into a very general. Maybe you'll start with Dr. Chen. What is your view on the AI impact on the general industry?
Okay, thank you. Let me ask a very simple question. I mean, I don't know how many, and see people raise your hand. How many people you are the software engineer? Okay, do you feel software engineers will be out of job soon?
Scope is ready.
Even like, that's my own feeling, okay, so people may not think that even like last year. So this year, all of a sudden, people think what the software engineer can do. Right? Myself, okay, just for your background, for your information, I've been a software engineer for 15 years. Okay, now I'm not a software engineer anymore. So I feel like, oh, am I safe? So software engineer is interesting. Now, even when you see this section here, you notice one thing, right? A website, a landing page, you just issue some command and then being created already. So what do you think? In the future, do you even need to type into the command? What about just talk to the machine, create a landing page for me? So that's a kind of interesting question. So now software engineer, you can ask this question, what about other people? You don't need to be like 10 years experience to ask this question. Anyone can ask this question and say, okay, do this for me. Right? So I think that's an interesting question. Right? So the people may feel all of a sudden, I think this year people feel what I can do for software engineer. Same thing for our school, right? So we are thinking, what about I give you some examples. Okay, like 5 years ago, we still talk about LeetCode, Python LeetCode training. Okay, 3 years ago, when we teach Python, we don't talk about LeetCode anymore because LeetCode, this practice your brain. It doesn't matter how you train our students, you cannot compete with computer. Okay, so once you cannot compete with computer, we don't compete anymore. So what do we do? So now we are training something different. You have an idea what you try to do. Same thing for the what we're talking about today. You see as a topic, ideas very important, right? What do you would like to do? The software engineer used to be very I think there's a very high barrier for people to enter into software, do the code, and then people feel like, oh, there's always some barrier to get everything done in years of training. Now all of a sudden, all we have to do is just talk, and computer can generate the code for you. So even like that, okay, I'm thinking why we need to have a computer language. It's not for machine, it's for human beings. Why we need a Python code? Python code is written for human beings. If only for the machines, you don't need Python code, right? You just generate the machine code. So that's what I'm thinking in the future. Okay, machine code will be the future. You don't even need an intermediate computer language. You can probably directly generate all the functions. So that's what I feel. Okay, not count on your coding skills. There's no way you can compete with computers. So now we have to find something new. So that's the first question.
Thank you. And that is from the software engineering side, and Chin-Sung is more from the DevOps side. Can you maybe talk about that?
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm also a software engineer before. I work on the DevOps side, then work on the cloud infrastructure, and also for the SRE and the operation. So it's pretty challenging with AI. You can see from the demo, you can build and deploy product within 5 minutes. You can create an environment and destroy environment just within the second, right? So this have big impact to the production as well, because production is beyond the demo, right? So the thing is beyond demo. Demo is to me is very simple, easy, and the demo is always show working path. Production is different. Okay, so production, we also introduce a lot of AI in the production right now. So that means especially for the open telemetry. So because whatever you put in the production, before you touch the production environment, first is observability. You have to know what's going on, okay? So this is the first requirement is telemetry. When you're writing the code, we also enforce the agent to imply the observability at the beginning of your code. You cannot just deploy the code, put the function, and deploy it to the function without observability. We also have a gateway, and the gateway control is also by agent. So this is just to tell you, beyond the demo, they still have some agent there as well to scan your code for the security, API key, and all the token and stuff, the security, but also from the operation side, we also have multiple agents there before we can touch the production environment. Okay, so this is observability first, and also the scaling, the cost, and how to control the cost, because like one person is easy, but you have 10,000 people, the scaling and the scale up and the scale down. Scale up is easy and also scale down. And you have to know how to scale up and when to scale down. Those all have a lot of AI agents on the operation side as well. We call monitor the pattern and monitor the trend. We can scale the capacity up and down automatically. This is for the operation, also for the instant. For anything happen, like the demo also good part, in the production they have failure, right? In the case of the fail, what happens? So right now, all the company from what I've been, we mainly focus on the TDD, the time to detect, and within the second level. So which means when anything happens, within the second level, the agent should detect something wrong. And what happens? Should I increase? Should I stop? Should I destroy the container? Should I build an instance? And should I call? Should I page out? They have a lot of agents there. And so we call that consulting chapter, okay? So because they also do a lot of calculation, what the impact. They do the real-time calculation. If I do this, what the impact? If I do that, what the impact? and they propose what is the best solution. So that's why the Dr. Chi mentioned what the rule for software engineer. They have a lot of work to be done for the operation side. So if you think you have a bottleneck somewhere on your software writing the code, work on to focus on the operation side because a lot of AI agent required to control the operation.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Mahesh. Yeah.
You can hear me now? Hello. I don't know what I can add to what Glenn and Trap Chang has said already. In my opinion, I think there is some more time for a career in software engineering because the models are not there yet where we can trust them 100%. That is one thing. Second thing is about, you mentioned about barrier of entry. I think that's all enough. Anybody has a good idea for a startup and they want to do, a demo to a VC, like your demo was showing, they can do it. They don't have to pay some, consultants to build a website or the applications. You can do it yourself and create a prototype. But then when you go into production, once you go into production, operationalize it, like he said, there's a lot of work to be done. And that gap is not filled yet, as far as I know. Here at AWS, we also stress on security is job number one for us. Always, security is number one. Data protection, access, least privileges, give the same least amount of privileges to get the work done, not anymore. There are so many things that we have to do behind the scenes, observability, telemetrics, monitoring, etc. Because we'll be liable if we don't, if the data leaks out, lawsuits, brand will be disintegrated, and then you'll have lawsuits, of course. So there are a lot of these things that we have to take care of when we do operationalize. And the final point I'll make is the cost optimization. If we are not very clear on what we want to do, pay-as-you-go model, then it can become like a cellular phone where if you're out of range, even for a 1 minute call, you'll be paying $10 a minute. It can have a runaway cost if you're not very careful, if you're not monitoring it well, and scaling up and down as necessary, picking the right model for what you want to do. If you're using a simple query, then use a simpler model. If you want a long-running, then you can have a deep reasoning model like Opus, where you will be paying a lot more for doing simple stuff. Then you're wasting money there. So there are a lot of stuff that we have to do, but then there are some skills that need to be applied, human skills at that point. We are not there yet in terms of AI.
Thank you, Mahesh. So there's so many things, new things. Not only new thing, but the pace of the change is so fast, right? So how do you, if any organization, they're just starting testing it or using AI, do you have any recommendations? In what areas people can start using AI, to leverage the AI into their workspaces? Do you have any general recommendations?
Well, the white-collar jobs are at risk right now. I think that's where the AI is going to be applied a lot more. We have already seen one viral PDF went, I think that Matt Schumer's went viral recently. 85 million views. I think he talked about how his lawyer friend had epiphany or a managing partner at a lawyer firm where the AI was giving good results for his query as good as a senior lawyer would give. And very little hallucination from that. So we're getting to a point where, I think we have to evaluate that. Where it is going to be, I don't know. At this point, things are shaking out still. But the white collar jobs certainly are at risk. So if you want to elevate yourself, you'll have to think about that.
Right, thanks. Okay, so,
Yeah, so don't scare the AI. I think the AI is a good things, and how to start working, just begin to use it. I think daily work, I miss from what I'm also working with the engineers. You should never write the code by yourself right now. Just don't write the code. always use AI, and also try to study some MCPs. Okay, MCP, they have all the capabilities, all the skills there. Before you write your code, before you think you want to do something, check the MCP list to see what function, what skill they already there, and then using the AI. And also, Dr. Ping mentioned in one of the slides, don't fix the code, fix the prompt. This is always true. Just like a TV, we are not fix TV anymore. If the TV break, we change it. The same thing in the code. If the code have a bug, don't try to spend time debug the code. Rebuild it. Just rebuild the whole function, whole feature again. I think this is a trend. Because with AI, they can generate 1,000 code within a second. If you debug it, it takes a long time, then you rebuild it. So that's why don't try to spend time working on the syntax, the why the build failure. No, don't spend time on that. Spend on the prompt, depend on what you want to build. Try to use agent to rebuild the things over and over again. This way you learn the agent, you train the agent, also train yourself. But like the white collar job is gone, but also they have a new things come on, and we had to change. We had to check our thinking. We have to check other ways to develop.
I like the idea you just throw away. There's no waste, right? So you don't need to recycle it. Just throw it away and then plug it with a new module.
Yeah, just like destroy the resource. Yeah, normally because they are so fast, they can change the whole code and deploy within so fast. Don't spend time, because time is precious. Right? Don't spend time trying to debug the code and things, and just try to rebuild and redeploy.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so the first question I said software jobs in danger. So now my second question is, do you think more jobs or less jobs? Okay, we're talking about, see, those people have ideas. Software may be in trouble. Development, the DevOps operations still need people. So now I think that fundamentally, I'm more confident. One thing I'm pretty sure, there'll be more jobs, not less jobs. Okay, so this is something I don't want to scare you. There's always more jobs, and not like less jobs. It's more like what you are really looking into. So that's my opinion, right? So think about economy size. Whenever I think the previous is internet bubble, right? When internet e-commerce come in, our economy maybe doubled. You look at the stock price, all the price doubled. Now you look at the AI, it's 10 times more. So in terms of the economy size, it's much bigger than before. Before it was times 2, now it's times 10. So for that reason, you can imagine in Silicon Valley, there's always more jobs. It's just the job probably can shift to different areas. They are very right, maybe operations is still more jobs. So now the question is, where the job goes, right? So if you have such a 10 times larger economy size, you definitely need more people and different skill set. So that's my opinion. Even I think the software engineer, maybe the demand for software engineer would be reduced. But overall, the economy is really growing 10 times more. Some people said, not 10 times more. I heard one professor give a talk, he said 100 times. So they predict the economy will much faster to reach 10 times in future. So that's what I think we should have confidence. Actually, it's even more promising. It's a very good time. I think it's a golden opportunity. So now it depends how you're going to grab this opportunity. Whenever the opportunity comes, you need to have additional skills. So not just count on your previous skills in coding, but now look at the agents. The agent can do a lot of things. Now you probably have to know how to utilize agents. One thing I'm thinking is really coming is AGI, right? So last year was when people asked me about the AGI, in my mind, I was thinking, maybe you have hundreds of, even thousands of agents, then you have the AGI. But this year, we think it's different. Not like the more, you will be more smarter, but you have to control those agents. Not even control the agents, actually let agents to control agents. So people actually have some separations. Before we always talk about machines interactions. No, you don't even have to interact with agents. When AGI comes, it's become machine controls agents. Now, what we think is my second question is what we can do, right? What we should do. When the team was talking about, you should have some ideas. Eventually, the bottom line, we are not serving the machines. We're really serving people ourselves, the well-being. Once back to the bottom line of what the economy is supposed to do, that's where the jobs are. So that's my opinion. There's more opportunities. Now you have to explore them. Another thing is very important. In the future, you don't have to depend on the company to hire you to do a job. Actually, you have opportunity to create your own business. With these agents helping you, you can compete with the big companies. So that's why I see there's a trend, especially in Silicon Valley. There are tons of small companies, sometimes 10 people, sometimes one single people. They can do a lot of things. That's what I think. That's why I think where the job opportunity will be. As long as you have ideas, you know what you want to do, AI can help you. So in my second statement, let's just recap. It's not less opportunity, actually it's more opportunity now. It's a good timing. I think it's a golden opportunities. We just need to take advantage of them. You can grab them, you should do better than the previous job.
Thank you very much.
I'll add a few things to that. We are in a transition right now, so where the jobs are going to be, I don't know. But surely in a few years, the universities, higher education will start retooling. And they say, okay, this is what we're going to train the graduating students for these types of jobs. And that is going to percolate down towards the high schools and middle schools. And they'll have a better picture of the kids who are coming out will have a better idea. Like you said, maybe there are entrepreneurs in high school, and they'll have their own ideas. So most of the creative stuff is going to get pushed up. More creative stuff will bubble up and push down towards the students who want to do this. You don't have to rely on the traditional study this 4-year course, get a job. That I think is not going to be as much valuable anymore, whereas we'll be more creative towards the kids can become more entrepreneurial. They can stand on their own 2 feet. You don't have to rely on corporates to give them jobs as well. So it's going to be a shift. It's going to be, I don't know how long it will take, but it's definitely going to take a while.
Yeah, so let me tell you the trend you may see right now. Many companies, they began here the junior engineers, okay? They let senior engineer go, but they began here the junior engineers. So you can see, because company they try to training the agent is with so many tools is much easier, and the junior engineer they learn things fast. Okay, they learn more things fast, and they are willing to learn and are willing to grow. So I think this also just like Dr. Chen said, they have a lot of opportunity for the junior engineer right now, and the senior engineer you have to think what you want to do, because to the company, a lot of companies kind of like a senior goal, but keep on the junior.
So I'll just plug in for CSTU actually. A couple of years ago when I did a course there, at that time, like that LeetCode was very hard. Machine learning was very hard, which is what I did. Now it's more agentic. So at CSTU, they recognize that the current skill sets needs to be updated. So the courses that they offer also reflect that.
So let's do a time check. I think maybe I'm asking one last question and open the floor for some of the interesting people to asking. Are you okay? Yeah. All right. So if there's one thing people go home tonight, they can do a practice, or maybe tomorrow morning they go to work in their organization, what kind of suggestion you can give it to him, just maybe mindset change and deal with the AI, whatever that is, and can you give our audience some advice if they can do one thing different tonight?
Yeah, to me, buy back mini build agent.
I like it, okay. Yeah.
Actually, it's more than that. If I place myself, there's only one place we could get information growing up in India, libraries. Okay, I never imagined that Google would be available to my kids. Now, and then after that you have the software, or you have to become a doctor, engineer, whatever. All the knowledge that you gain, you had only one or two places to get. Now, it's everything is at your fingertips. If you don't know anything, just ask ChatGPT or whatever you want.
Yeah.
So let your imagination run wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just continue. I just said, okay, there's more opportunity earlier. So now the further questions, where those opportunities, right? So there's another question people can ask. Okay, software, you said the computer can do software. So what should we do, right? One thing I think is very important on at least from CTU's perspective, right? We think robotics, very, very important. So we can have a school of robotics. So that the robots do the things. Second thing, I think is very important, healthcare. Like we have to take care of people, so we can have a school of healthcare. Very important, right? Healthcare, and AI can do it. And third things, what do you think? Any ideas? I think from my perspective, your assets, now it's digital assets. Now we have to pay attention to digital assets. But we've been moved to the digital, so that's also related to like my job. My mention about the jobs. One thing people didn't realize, there's a huge market for marketing. So all the companies like Google, Meta, LinkedIn, they're all in a set of marketing. If you can compete with companies, you can get their shares. You can do it yourself now, right? So how you can do it? Okay, so people can do a lot of things. Marketing, you can create your own channel. You can see those influencer. They can do much better. Even like President Trump, when he got elected, he got the advice from his son. He said, okay, talk to the influencer. So that's one thing. Marketing is another big chapter, big sector. Individual can really work on that. Not for everyone, but I think a lot of people can do it. You can look at those TikTok, those small videos. So that's many things, many new things showed up. Okay, that's how at least from our CTU perspective, I think those are very promising sectors. If you are interested, if you really want to do it, you can try it out. It doesn't really hurt. You don't need a lot of investment. Actually, you can start doing all the things. So that's what I'm thinking. Don't just focus on, we are in the Silicon Valley, we focus on technology, but don't focus on the things that AI can do. Whatever AI can do, we just use it. There's no way you can compete with the AI. The computer is much more powerful. Then you have to focus on things the AI may not help you, but cannot compete with you. So that's kind of my suggestion for this year, at least for now. That's what I can see. But my opinion may change even like in 4 or 5, 6 months. That's how things are developed so fast. Okay, there's no way I can see in 1 year down the path. But then I can actually see in a 10 years time frame, AI will be dominant. Okay, everything. So one friend that gave me one idea. What about robot taxi? So I can buy a robot taxi, let the robot taxi to just do the pick up those customers and make money for me, and even don't have to worry about it. And after 1 year, maybe they can make up money to cover the cost. What about doing any like negotiation, tradings? Like all agents can do negotiation much faster than any human beings. Negotiation, don't think it's an easy thing. It's a very tough job. You think about the US and Iran, they negotiate for months, and in the end, you cannot resolve anything. But you let agents to negotiate, they can complete a deal in seconds. So a lot of work in this agent can do, the AI can do. That's what I think. If you create something, you can do all the things, like replace the traditional way. You actually stay ahead of most people. So that's what I think. Thinking is very important. Ideas. You see all the classic, conventional industries. You think I can do better with agents, with AI. Go ahead and do it. So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe in a few months, you see so many opportunities there, including the investment. There's no way to read all the documentations. People let AI to do it. Tradings, negotiations, finance management, anything as a digital assets. Also, there's no way you can deal with yourself. It's too complicated. Even myself, when I read those documentations, I think that it may take weeks to understand one paper. If I feed it into the AI, they can give you the suggestion probably in a few minutes. That's how fast, how efficient the AI can do. Now, if I still have to deal with them myself, there's no way I can do a lot of things. You really have to, each agent can, or the AI can do one thing. But then if you can deploy like thousands of them, hundreds of them, now you can imagine how powerful it would be. But a lot of people didn't really think about that way. Okay, so everything you have to under your own control. But if you think harder, you think about, you understand what the AI can do, then you probably can do much better.
Thank you. Okay. So we take this chance to open the floor. Any question? I think a couple of you are sitting here so patiently. Maybe you have some question you want to share.
Hi. Hello. Hello. First of all, thank you for the panel. It was very interesting, very thought-provoking. A lot of the questions raised some opinions in my mind, and you personally made a couple of questions which I find very thought-provoking. I think it's easy to think of these issues in a binary way, like whether software engineering will exist or will it not, whether there will be more jobs or less jobs. But I think that with everything that's happening with AI right now, it's not going to be such a binary issue. It's going to be more of a very fast transformation of things that we sometimes cannot completely comprehend. So for instance, I think that what's going on right now with the software development or the software engineering in general is rapidly evolving to very different things. So the people who were usually software engineers right now are basically evolving to a different kind of thing. When you see like the top engineers in Anthropic, for instance, the top guy, the one who created LeetCode, says that since the last 6 months he hasn't written a single line of code. So when you start to think of the way that there's a shift in your everyday task to task or everyday day-to-day kind of things that you do as a software engineer, and it's turning more into being more of a product manager where you understand the scope of the things that you need, you understand what needs to be done, but in essence you are transmitting your instructions or whatever you need to a different agent, right? So it becomes a very different day-to-day in terms of what software engineering is. And now you can also think of the fact that most of us, or basically everybody, can now have the power to produce what a software engineer used to produce in the past. So there's a very strong shift in the way that what we thought functioned in a certain way is starting to function in very different ways. And then there's the question of the jobs, whether there will be more or less. In my opinion, we will, once we have our AGI and once we have the current very advanced intelligence that we have, but especially when it humanizes itself or when it robotizes itself through actually capable robots, I believe that the cost of products and services will tend to go to zero. And that's because when it's very easy to produce and it's working 24/7 and it's working on economies of scale and it starts to become absolutely massive, every single thing that we require starts to approach a very low price point. And at that point, I think we start to shift to a post-economic society in which we need to think not in whether there will be more or less jobs, but basically whether we need to do a job in order to feel fulfilled and to feel significant in society. And whoever needs that will probably have something to do and will have an amazing job if they want to. But it will no longer be absolutely necessary in order for you to live as we have understood like the function of the economy and how we work up to this day. It will suddenly shift and it will be different, and when we have abundance of energy, abundance of technology, abundance of medicine, abundance of the products and services that we need, we will start to shift and start to think of things that make us human and make us feel good about what we do in our everyday lives. But I think it will be different. You know, like we will not be thinking of whether we have jobs or not. It will be something completely different. And I think that Elon Musk, for instance, has been insisting in this kind of abundance that he believes that will arise with what's happening, and I think it's going to be amazing. I'm really, really happy that we get a chance to live in a world in which this very strong change is taking place, and we're at the forefront of it. So thank you for all your ideas.
Yeah, very insightful. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah.
So, very interesting perspectives. I think the panel has been the standout for me, and obviously the original demos. But I think where I'll take the point forward, 100 years ago, civil engineers were the hottest engineers because everything had to be built. Bridges, roads, highways, etc. And in the last 30 years, there was hardly any demand for civil engineers outside of countries where there was no real big infrastructure project. The US was a classic example of that civil engineers were getting paid $60,000 after several years of working, and a fresh computer science engineer was getting $80,000. And I'm just going back maybe 15, 20 years ago. That shift is going to happen for software engineers, I think. That's the biggest shift that will happen, is that there will be operators of the machines that will be needed. The number of people needed will be less. But then all the energy demand that's coming will lead to more infrastructure. So maybe other engineering disciplines may have many more jobs coming up for those.
Yeah. Very good. Yeah. Very insightful of that. Yes.
First of all, a great panel. I love the session totally. And one point I would say about AI is the shift towards which is getting, it's really going in a good positive direction. It just needs a little bit of tweaking. Like right now, AI is in such a position where it's a dilemma between using those and not, and finding the errors and all those things. But say for, in few years, AI, the coding practice with the AI and the approach like operating system would be very much different from what it should be. And once the AI gets stable, I believe that it would drastically make a big change. Like say for instance, earlier, if anyone's familiar with coding in the oldest languages, it used to take 1,000 of lines just to build a small piece of code. But eventually there came language like C, Java. You code just like 6-7 lines to build the same amount of code. People think that we are doing a code manually in Java, but in reality we are just calling the wrapper classes. And if you open up and behind the scenes. It's all a big bunch of code. So I believe that AI, once it gets stable, is gonna be a mix of wrappers and like an automated machine of calling the wrappers through command lines as an advanced version of NVIDIA. And currently, I would say cloud is closest for the approach, as it gives a manual control equally, as well as it builds everything easily. So once we get that perfect AI, like advanced wrapper class, I believe everything would be good.
For sure, it will be different. So yeah, very very insightful perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think very hard right now in the AI we call the workflows. Just like it's not really rubber glass, it's how to connect multiple AI agents together. I think a lot of companies they also looking for the workflow solution. I think those also maybe very very good area you need to focus on. Just how to build workflows.
Hey everyone, I have a question. Firstly, thank you so much for hosting this. This is very insightful and informative. And what I want to ask for the panelists is, since I'm from the business side, to me, what it seems ahead of us is some kind of a perfect storm. Because if say AGI is achieved, then there's a decent amount of people who will lose their job, and people will have a lower income generally. And obviously, the AGI will not need to, buy houses or, buy clothes. So it seems the economy is not going to be circulating as normally, right? But if AGI does not come and the AI doesn't deliver what it has promised, all the stock that has already reflected those projections will inevitably fall, right? For example, NVIDIA, right? All the stocks that we have seen boom. So how do you see this kind of situation? Because either way, it seems there's some kind of crisis embedded in the economy.
Very interesting question. So if the AGI is true, then we are looking at the Star Trek future, which is basically everybody wants to do whatever they want to do, and everybody wants to get a universal income. They are free to do what they want to do. If it doesn't happen, we still have jobs. So there's a long way to go still. So if the AGI is not there yet, there is some value in what humans can do. But if AGI is there, then we are looking at the Star Trek future.
Okay, let me try to answer this question. Okay, so as I said earlier, the AI comes, the economy will be 10 times or even 100 times more in terms of the size. So I think the question is really, do you think the distribution, right? Once you have such a huge amount of wealth, we can distribute more evenly or less evenly, right? When we say more evenly means more people will benefit. Right now, it's a big company. They probably grab like 80%, 90% of the benefit of the economy. Now, in my opinion, when AI comes, the things will be more fair to everyone. Because you don't need really rely on the big capital to capture this opportunity. That's why I said, okay, there's a more opportunity for normal people, like finance, same thing, right? If you don't have a big company, then you cannot do much. Right now, with the AI, actually lots of people can do much more. So in my opinion, when those things really happens, AGI coming here happens, the big company, you can lose this advantage. It depends on who can really grab these opportunities, right? For, as I said, okay, marketing. Then you have to rely on Google to do the search engine to marketing. Now I don't need everyone, you really want to go to marketing, and just small guys can do just as well. So overall, I think more people can benefit. So that's why I think it's always a big opportunity, and it's a better. My first question is a scalable one. Then in the end, in my heart, okay, I have more confidence in this time. more people will benefit than before. I think the last technology, technical innovation created this internet, e-commerce. You create a huge company. Elon Musk is like a huge one. You have nothing more wealth than anyone else because nobody can compete with him, right? But now when the AI comes, then you have even for individuals, you probably have a more competitive edge. You can compete with big companies in terms of marketing. You can grab some benefit out of this big company. So overall, my conclusions is a better opportunity for everyone.
Thank you both.
Actually, I have one theory. So you see the news, right? So the billions and billions of dollars invested. Where are those money goes?
The data center.
So try to find a job on the data center around the power supply, the power market, right? The power
Electricity.
economics, yes. Right. Probably you can share a little bit more with us.
Actually, I have a question for you,
Sure,
for
sure.
panel.
Sure.
Well, actually, from the introduction of this event, I saw a vocabulary you wrote on the, it's called SaaS collapse, right?
Oh,
SaaS
yeah,
collapse.
yes.
So, what I'm thinking is like, in the SaaS industry, building the trust is really essential and important. But when you are bringing the agentic workflow into both sides, I mean, the buyer side and seller side, how do you foresee, how do you see if there is any like standard or protocol going to come out, how the trust will build into, building up, bridging two counterparty?
So,
Good answer.
Okay, I don't mind. I try to answer the question. I think the more like negotiations, right? Buyer and the seller. So I think there's even like a few years ago, you already have protocol exists to set up like a buyer's protocol, like a seller's protocol. In my mind, okay, we have a course called negotiations. So the bottom line, machine, you assume, okay, machine doesn't cheat, human cheats. So if that's the case, okay, machine can do better than human beings. Basically, you lay down all of the protocols, what you really want, what's exactly what you have. Machine can check everything for you. And then human try to hide. Okay, now people say, okay, the AI actually try to learn from human beings. But in my mind, okay, that's always the case. Like when the internet, before the internet invent, we have a good faith, like in protocol IPv4, we don't even have security involved. So only the people too smart. Machine actually is quite honest. If you believe that's also going to be the case, then I always trust machine more than human beings. So now the question is, will machine become human? Then that's the issue. Correct?
Not sure yet, but thank you for the opinion.
Right. So overall, I think it's always like a make and check, right? Whenever you invent something for the goods, there's always some people try to take advantage of the system. It's always the case. Even like AI comes, right? People are very concerned. So there's, I know lots of researchers try to guard the AI, make sure the AI doesn't really go bad. Because when you train the AI, eventually it depends on what kind of information feed into AI. It can easily go like human beings. Human beings, everyone has a different intentions. They never show you 100%. But machine is different. So that's why I think eventually we can lead to a better society if we believe machine can be more fair. That's what, from my heart, I think eventually humans are always biased. Doesn't matter who you are. Okay, doesn't matter how great you are. Humans are always biased. There's only a chance you can get like a less biased case. It's a machine. If a machine think about collect the data of worldwide of everyone, this is always a better chance you have a more fair machine decisions.
So to answer your question, I've been in the software industry for such a long time, right? So I was in the transition of the on-premise to SaaS service. Back then, about 15 years ago, everyone is talking about to convert your on-premise installation into SaaS. Now we're just swinging back to the different business model. So yes, a SaaS, it won't be the same in next few years, maybe in a few months. But the way that I really believe those smart people, those MBA people on the business level, on the business positions, they'll figure out a way to reach out to your pocket and to get money from your pocket and try to invent some kind of new services for you. And then that is the new job opportunity we're coming up, and it's up to us to create it. That's my point.
So I want to add a little bit on this trust, because I own company production site. I mean, for the production, I don't care is an agent or human being. Okay, so the standard is always the standard. So the trust is built on the standard, built on the protocols. So that means the product on the website or on the apps, either to me is the same. So even though you build with the agent, but before you deploy it to the production, they always have all kind of security checkings and the protocol checkings, and they have also called kiosk testing. So they have go through all the testing, then they go to the production. As long as the product on the production site, the quality standard should be the same. I think the trust also be the same. What I'm thinking.
Good. One last question?
One more question?
No more questions? Maybe we just have, okay, yeah, sure. Oh, I think we're over time. Okay, last one, okay. Wow.
It's a short one too. So, what was the last thing you asked ChatGPT or any other AI tools?
What was the last question we asked ChatGPT?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to share, if you're not to, you could just.
So normally I just, what I do if you can do everything.
I don't use ChatGPT.
Which one are you using?
Yeah, I ask the ChatGPT every day, pretty much all sort of questions, because I'm running a school, so lots of is related to my actual practical problems. So it's hard to answer the question, but I would say you ask the ChatGPT, you pretty much ask everything, including your personal or business. So that's what I think at this moment. But I said, okay, in the future, I don't have to ask.
Thank you for asking that question. That is really to the core of this event. I asked ChatGPT to ask me, what do I really want? With that, I think we can close today's event. Just ask, that's my book, sorry, I have to